Hello, YouTube and Facebook. We're just waiting on George to come in, but I'll take your. Well, it's only me. I'm getting multiple personality disorder. I'll take your questions if you want, as we wait for George and possibly JR coming in early. Oh, there he is. Greetings.
What's up, dude?
Can't hear you. Oh, there you are. There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yep. It was low for a second.
Oh, okay.
Talk again. Are you running off your mic on your camera or your headset?
Oh, you know what? Hang on. I think it's Give me a minute. I don't know why it keeps defaulting back. No, I'm talking off my mic.
Okay, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
We have 4 viewers. I thought I'd start have people start getting in here. So I'm not sure if JR will join us or later. I'm not sure. But here, let me get my tab opened for the issue you're going to talk about.
I'll put it up on Discord. You want me to put it up on? No, you're already on Facebook right now, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Let me remove this from the screen. There we go. I actually got 3 or 4 pages I can show from Comixology. Matt, it's going to be Peter Parker Spectacular number 100 for both months. We're going to do Spot and Kingpin. SoFlo, what's up, sir? You are always on, man. Every time we go live, I always see it. Thanks for being so dedicated. So Matt just answered your question to Spec 100. Here, I'll give you a little preview. There it is. That's what we're going to talk about. You can buy it up on Comixology.com.
We never heard back from Ashley. I was hoping Ashley could join us for like a Black Cat, thing.
For the Black Cat thing?
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess she wasn't able to get free.
6 on YouTube.
And she's going to hate it because this is a big Black Cat issue.
It is a big Black Cat issue, yeah.
Actually, it's a big issue for a lot of stuff.
It is.
It really is.
I wish I'll say it during the thing, but I wish the art was better. It didn't do it for me.
For me, I like Herb Trimpe. Herb Trimpe.
No, it's Al Milgrom.
Oh, I thought this was Trimpe. I put kind of Trimpe and Milgrom in the same thing.
I would agree.
They're not like superstar.
Yeah,
level,
they're not Sal Buscema,
but they're workhorses. They can come in and do the work that you need when you need it.
That's very true.
And those, I'm sorry. I've never disliked their work.
Yeah.
But
I remember when Milgrom did Secret Wars 2, I was so it just kind of messed me.
Were you disappointed with the art when it came out though?
Yeah.
Because for me,
JR, what's up?
For me at this time period, this was pretty good for the time period. Hey, JR.
Hi, I just entered the broadcast studio.
Welcome to the broadcast studio. Evidently, me and George and 8 other people beat you here.
It's aggravating. Oops.
Whoa.
There we go.
Yourself.
Yeah, I took it off there.
Well, I'm ready to start if you are, George.
I guess we can go ahead and start. Do we want to wait a few minutes until other people get here, or because we just now, we see, bam, we just got a new viewer right as I was saying that.
We got 10. We bought SoFlo bought ASM 200 on eBay. That's a great issue. It's one of the classics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, it is.
McNulty says, Matt Bird, you might even say this fight will be spot on. Queuing opening to CSI Miami. Wow.
Oh, hey,
who are you?
How's it going, Mike? I just earlier today I was working on things that might kill Mike in D&D.
Oh, what is Mike's kryptonite?
Right now it's women, but no, literally his character. I suspect his character struck out with this dwarf. Well, not struck out, but like passed on an affectionate dwarf gal. Because I think he's got his mind on another NPC or something. I don't know.
So the fans want to know, and so do I, George. I mean, JR. Why are you in a spring house?
Why am I
JR? You're in a spring house. Over your shoulder is spring house. What is that? Did you go to a Bow's house?
Oh, golly.
It's
No,
like you're
it's,
subliminally messaging me or the
No,
viewers.
it's it was an invitation for my son to attend an open house at Cleveland State.
Well, there you
So,
go.
but that ain't,
He's not going.
he ain't going. He ain't going to that. He ain't going to Cleveland State. And
Is he going to go to college or?
Don't ask. It's a long story.
Oh.
Now you know what, JR, here's the thing though, in his defense, as somebody who's been laid off multiple times now, when as soon as a company has a great quarter and then they just dump a lot of people,
yeah,
to maximize profits. If I had to go back and do it again, and I think about this a lot, if I had to go back and do it again, I don't know that I wouldn't go and learn a trade instead. And go into business for myself, because I tell you what, as much as I get laid off, you know who doesn't get laid off? Plumbers,
people.
welders,
People have a skill. Yeah.
They actually
mechanics.
They actually clumped me in the technical school at the high school.
Good.
So we have heating and air. We've got medical. We've got everybody that has a website needs video.
And that's coming from somebody,
any business. Yeah.
That's coming from someone who has a college degree.
Yeah. Well, I agree.
I have one too.
A college degree is overrated. I mean, it is now. College is a scam. But the problem is just bigger though than whether or not Spencer goes to college. It just he's 18 years old. He's distracted. He's got other things. He's not it's like and Brad has made the mistake of having only one child, because it's kind of like Bill Cosby once said in a joke. If you have only one child, you're not really a parent.
Well, crawl space trivia. Technically, Brad has two.
I have a stepdaughter.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Alice Ann, right?
Yep.
Isn't she married now? Did she get hitched?
She is. She's
married, I thought I
yep.
saw that on your Facebook. Yeah.
Well, see, then that's not an issue. See, it's like when you have two, you have two kids, you have one that grows up a certain way, and then one that's a total opposite. I got my oldest or whatever, who was a scholar who went through with school with flying colors, went to college, got her master's, got a job or whatever.
Got her master's. She was in school a long time.
Not really. She's only in school 5 years.
Oh wow! I thought, if you want to be a doctor, it's like a decade plus.
No, she's not going to do a doctorate, but no, she her field of study was criminal justice, and in the social sciences, if you don't have these days, I mean, back when I was in school, I got out with a bachelor's, but these days, if you're in the almost anymore, you have to have a master's. You just have to.
Yeah, I would though. I would go if I could go back. I would probably learn a trade instead, and work my way up, save money, open my own business, and be my own damn boss.
Like HVAC, everybody needs air conditioning and heating.
Exactly. Heating and air people, they work year round.
No doubt.
It's like it's construction. I mean, anything, if an electrician or whatever, I mean, people are begging for somebody who has the skills, and a lot of times, you get a lot of these old guys or whatever who are just the best you can. Well, one, you can't hardly get your calls returned, for one. I mean, it's very, very tough. I mean, we've been trying to find somebody to. Of course, my wife can't decide what she wants to do in the house, and we always have an argument, and then we don't do anything for 6 to 8 months. But it's hard to get a contractor even return your call.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, I've seen your non-crawl space posts of late. You are amazing. Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Brad is nominated for a major award, and when I say major award, I don't mean like Christmas Story major award. I mean like
a major award.
Fragile.
No doubt. Teaching award. I thought that was awesome.
What is this now? You're like 5th year, 6th year,
third.
I thought you've been doing it longer than that.
No, I started in February 2017. So just came on 3.
Maybe it just feels like longer. I don't know.
Criminal justice needs a major man. People are tuning into fights, and we're talking about education.
How many people do we have now?
Zach said that there's 10 million trade jobs out there. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Here's the thing: you don't get laid off.
No,
they don't lay people off because you're always in demand. Like plumbers don't get laid off.
Nurses.
I mean, you are there's always a need for you. So go learn a trade. Don't worry with getting your liberal arts degree. They are worthless now.
And trust me,
go in the trash.
And if you have a trade and you return phone calls, you'll get business.
Brother. Yeah, I mean that's and you go somewhere, you return somebody's call, you get a job, you go somewhere, you do a great job, and then what happens? One of their friends is like, I got a thing. I got a leaky pipe. I got something happening. My AC's out, whatever. Bam! I know a guy.
McNulty says his brother-in-law is an independent electrician. He's in very high demand. There you go. Thank you, SoFlo. All right, let's get started, y'all. You ready?
All
right. Doing February Fight Club. Coming down. 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to the month of love and fist fighting. We're doing
What did you do for Valentine's Day?
Sometimes they occur in the same relationship.
What did I do for Valentine's Day? I got the missus and the daughter some flowers, and we made chocolate covered strawberries. Because here's what I did. I went to the chocolate store, and I looked, and there was a dozen chocolate covered strawberries, and they were $30 for 12 strawberries. $30.
Hell no.
And I wanted to get 2 boxes because my wife and daughter both love them, and I'm like, no. I'm going to the grocery store. I'm getting some strawberries, and I'm going to Google how you melt chocolate. I don't know how you did it, but I figured it out. You put them in a little bowl in the microwave. You keep stirring.
I think you can do it in a crock pot too.
Well, I didn't have that kind of time. So, anyway, I made like 2 dozen chocolate-covered strawberries, and she got me some Spider-Man cookies. And then I went and live streamed a basketball game.
Where'd you get Spider-Man cookies? Like at
a local baker. So it's
actually
cool.
Did they just have Spider-Man cookies all the time, or did she?
I think she does requests. So that was.
Oh, that's
nice.
cool. That's cool though.
I just literally ate them. I ate the last one before the show.
Do we want to ask JR what he did for Valentine's Day?
Looks like he went college shopping, is what it sounds like. JR, what's up, man?
Well, what did I do? Well, I did buy some flowers.
My man. The romantic is coming out of JR.
Well, Walmart had a special on them,
I thought you were going to say you put them on a grave or something.
I'm going to have an image in my head now of JR.
No, I don't put flowers on graves. I piss on graves.
I'm going to have an image in my head now of JR and his wife doing like the Lady and the Tramp spaghetti thing.
This is the night. What a wonderful night, and they call it J.R. Fettinger.
We haven't had a wonderful night in over 20 years.
Oh my God!
Jesus Christ, that makes me glad I'm single.
Well, little homie mouse says, "Hey, how's it going?"
Hi, hey, homie.
MM0 says, all's fair in love and war. Let the battle begin. We talking about Fight Club or marriage? We don't know. Zach says, bringing down the hammer. Congrats, Joe Mo. And Zach went to the movies. Probably saw Sonic. But anyway, what we're going to do is the issue we're going to talk about.
I just can't believe that Zach has a girlfriend. That just kind of like,
This came out in what year was it?
This is 86, I think.
85.
April 1st. 2015. That's not right. That's the digital release. Anyway,
that's incorrect.
So we've got the 100th issue of Spec with you got the symbiote coming at Spidey, you got the Spot coming at Spidey, Black Cat is kind of on his side, and then you got the Kingpin. Lots of fisticuffs. Talk about this one, George.
There's so much in here, right?
Yeah,
we're actually going to cover this issue over 2 months.
Yeah.
Because we have two fights in here that are interesting, and this was really like a key point in Spidey history for a lot of reasons, not just for Spidey, but a lot of the people in his in his supporting character stable. So yeah, I mean, there's two great fights in here. It was actually an expanded issue. I think it's like
it's $1.
Yeah, it was $1. And back then, $1 could get you like 40 pages.
I know. And this usually, what is 60, 65 cents or 75? Something like that.
40 pages today cost you $8.
I know. In a mortgage. Yeah.
Or unless you're mean, you don't buy it at all.
Wow.
Unless it's Amazing Spider-Man, and then you have to. Unless they make it $10 and then you just don't do it out of principle.
Then you sit out that month.
Then you sit out that month on the show. Yeah. But yeah, we always want to give context, right? Okay. Before we do a fight, so that people know what's going on. At this time in Spider-Man's history. And there's a lot of context right now at this period. The black suit is gone.
Yep.
Back at Reed Richards, and then he escapes. The suit escapes. What issue was it where he went to Reed to get the suit off of him, JR? I can't remember.
It was like 257, 258, something like that.
258, because they had that great Ron Friends cover with the red suit and the black suit coming at him together.
That's the one where Reed tells him, "Oh, but hey, by the way, this thing's alive and it's a parasite."
No doubt.
Mhm.
And then Peter's like, "What? It's alive!" And I'm like, "What was your first clue, genius?" You know?
And then he becomes a bombastic bagman after that, right?
Yeah,
And then when he becomes a bombastic bagman,
Yeah.
Yes, I've got the pop of that. Yeah.
I mean, that's all he had to get to escape. I mean, he could have just walked out of the, they could have just given him some of the torches clothes. Like, here's Johnny's sweater and some pants.
And then something from Doom came in and drew a hole in that little jail cell in the Four Freedoms Plaza or the Baxter Building or whatever it was at the time, and the symbiote leaked out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have that going on.
Yeah.
All right. This is an interesting time for Flash, Shashan, Betty, and Ned.
Oh yeah.
Because Flash and Shashan are having marital issues. Flash is really kind of an a-hole.
Yeah.
He really is.
get those sandwiches. Get those sandwiches ready, Shashan.
So at this time, Flash and Shashan are having issues. At the same time, Ned and Betty are having issues.
Yeah, it's typical soap opera stuff going on.
What happens when two couples that are within the same social circle suddenly they're having issues? Oh, what do you know?
They start dating.
Somebody starts banging somebody on the sly. And that's sure enough, that's what's happening here, as we'll find out in the issue. Vanessa Fisk, the wife of the Kingpin, is dying.
Yeah.
The Kingpin has scientists trying to early on in the issues before this. What led us to this point? Kingpin was trying to kidnap Cloak or Dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Of Cloak and Dagger because of her powers, and he thought if we can uncover the key to her powers, I can maybe use it to save my wife. It's actually not a, actually not a, not an ignoble thing to do. I mean, it's actually, I mean, what husband wouldn't want to save his wife? So at the same time, he also hires a scientist named Jonathan Ohm.
Oh yeah.
To investigate Cloak's powers and try to see if maybe there's something there that could help his wife on the off chance.
Mm-hmm.
So Ohm does some experiments and winds up finding this weird pocket dimension that is made of black and white, and the black it lets you move through, and so he becomes the Spot.
Okay.
Did
Michael Jackson create this dimension? Is that
black,
what it is?
It's white.
White.
Yeah.
No.
And so in his first fight, because he gets these powers, and then the scientist guy is like, "Hey, wow, I have superpowers now. Why don't I become a freelance criminal?" Because listen, in the mid '80s, everyone was doing that.
Yeah.
In the mid '80s, you got Hobgoblin out there working for Kingpin. No, for Rose. I mean, there's a lot of freelance. The '80s was a big time for freelance contract people, in the criminal underworld. You got guys like Boomerang running out there anyway. So yeah, he's like, you know what? I'll just become a freelance criminal. And since I'm working for the Kingpin already, I'm going to go after Spider-Man. And he actually manages to kick Spider-Man's butt.
Yeah.
The first round that they fight, because Spider-Man that has no context for what he's fighting.
Right. That was in the previous issue in '99, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man doesn't know what the heck's going on with the Spot. Doesn't know his powers. The Spot just shows up and just kind of overwhelms him.
Yeah. And
honestly, I mean, as big of a Spider-Man fan as I am, kind of embarrassingly.
No doubt.
It's kind of an embarrassing. It's a kind of embarrassing. Well, I like to kind of shrug it off as well. Peter mentally there's a lot going on right now for Peter at this time.
Right. Symbiotes, redheads, black cats.
Yeah, because at the same
Aunt May.
time, he's got Black Cat. The Kingpin is trying to drive a wedge between Spider-Man and Black Cat.
Yeah.
Because they've both been fighting him, and they've both been doing pretty good at it. And so Kingpin is like, I've got to find a way to split these two up.
If memory serves, this is the last issue where they were a couple. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think so. JR, is that right too?
Who is a couple? Spidey and the Black Cat?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a spoiler at the end?
Well, no. I mean you don't see Felicia. You don't see Felicia much after this,
not as a love interest, no.
Because look
at the very end. I mean, look at the geez, spoilers. I tell you,
this at a time was more of a Black Cat Spider-Man team up book.
It really was. Spec was
last year. It had been, yeah.
It really was. Yeah, it really was. It wasn't a bad thing.
No, I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, it was an interesting dynamic, and it worked well. But I mean, the writing's on the wall for this couple from day one. I mean, there's only so long Spider-Man can date a criminal. Yeah. Especially one that's only into him when he wears a mask.
Yeah.
Well, even I kind of like this dynamic a little bit. I wish it had been. The thing is, yeah, it is true that there was only so long that Spider-Man could date her, but I just hated the way she was written. I mean, it just should have been.
Yeah.
She just was written like an idiot. I mean, Roger Stern, when Wolfman had created her and Stern had done a story with her, she was smart, she was crafty, and then Mantlo and Milgram decided to turn her into an utter ditz, whereas you were glad that she was gone by the time she was gone.
I remember when I was a kid reading that, when he took the mask off and she was freaked out. I thought, what? Who does that?
What? No, that was not. No, I mean there are other ways it could have been handled. That was lazy writing, just absolutely lazy writing. Venkman doesn't matter.
Venkman says
how
35-year-old spoiler.
I will say though that the way the circumstances of their breakup, the way it all went down, and their mindset at the time was interesting.
Yeah.
The big breakup scene, just because of where she is and where he is, to me it was interesting. I'll say that for it. All right, so is there any more context we need to?
I think so.
We need to bring up. I think that's pretty much it. Flash at this point is trying to follow his dream and become a pro football player. So this is a big time in Spidey history. There's a lot of key stuff happening. But you're like, well, that's great, Professor Fights, but what about, the actual, fight? All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into this. And this is a Spidey versus Spot fight. So the Spot decides once again, he's going to go after Spider-Man. The Kingpin at this point doesn't know that one of the scientists working for him is actually, actually has his powers yet. Yeah. Dr. Ohm. Doesn't know that he's an actual, super powered criminal yet.
That almost sounds like a Doctor Who character.
It does kind of. Actually, his name, it's I don't know his name. I don't know. To me, it sounds kind of like Own, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's just me though. Hang on. You know what? I can never remember how to spell his name. Hang on.
I think it's OHM. I think Ohm is
I think it's like 2 N. No, it's
electrical.
It's not. It's not Ohm. It's OHNN. Own. Yeah, own.
Own, like I own this.
Like I'm going to own you in a fight, like you did in the first time.
Right.
But yeah, he decides he's going to go after Spider-Man again. And he ambushes Spider-Man. He's discovered that okay, so here's how Spot's powers work. It's kind of weird. His body is made of like white and black matter. Okay, there's like a white form and like these little black discs. The little black discs he can pull off, and then he can actually attack through them, or he can divert an attack that's coming in at him. So he starts thinking, he gets a little big for his britches. He starts thinking, hey, why not just throw a trillion of these out there? So he ambushes Spider-Man, immediately shows up, comes into like a portal, throwing all a ton of the little black portal. Yeah. I don't know what you call them, portals, holes, whatever. I don't want to call them holes.
Black holes is what I always thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starts throwing the holes at him. Completely takes Spider-Man by surprise. Why the spider sense doesn't kick in here, I don't really know. Anyway. But so Spider-Man tries to react, tries to dive out of the way, tries to web him, and Spot manages to use the holes. He grabs a bunch of holes, gathers them together, and makes the webbing just completely disappear.
Yeah,
right.
Transport.
Yeah, and so Spider-Man's like, well, how do I fight this guy?
Yeah.
Right. What am I going to do? So, whereas before the Spot, when he was fighting Spider-Man, he would use, he would throw out the holes and then he could attack through the holes. And so like he could be 10 feet away, but he's attacking Spider-Man with his fist, via one of these portals. Right. So Spider-Man's a little more on his game this time. He's able to duck away out of the holes. His spider sense finally kicks in here. As the Spot's trying to punch him, kick him, through all these different holes. And it's really, I do like the art here. Visually, the Spot is interesting.
He is.
The way his powers work, the way
I'm going to give you a little quick peek. I like this. You don't see a villain do that to Spider-Man very often.
Right.
I mean, with the I got a head coming out of one hole, a fist coming out, a foot kicking at him. It's not the normal contortion of a human body that is attacking him right now.
Yeah.
So,
And so, I mean, visually, it's interesting. You know, it can really be done. The only problem with the Spot is he himself is just not interesting behind things.
He's kind of like Venom in the 80s and 90s. Yeah.
Like, I mean, if a writer had come along and at some point early on wanted to make this guy sinister, I mean, this guy would be kind of a badass.
Yeah.
But he's not, because he's just a hapless scientist.
Goofy. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he's not even like really strong or anything. He's like an average guy. It's weird though. He's like an average guy. He's like a scientist. Yeah. There's a couple of times in his appearances around this time that they show him without a shirt, and he's like ripped. He's like Captain America. You know, and I'm like, that's not how a milk shop looks. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's you know, he's trying to he's trying to hit Spider-Man. Spider-Man's wizened up a little bit, you know, spider sense kicking in, helping him out a little bit. He's able to dodge the attacks. Black Cat swings by and sees him. She sees her boyfriend fighting a dude, and rather than join in and help him or try to help him, like she's done so many other times, you know, especially in this book where they've been like a team. She's like, nope, I'm going to use this as a diversion to try to get in and see the Kingpin.
Yeah.
And so, you know, leaving Spider-Man doesn't even see her, doesn't even know she's there. So Spider-Man's jumping around the roof, trying to evade the Spot, and he's doing a good job at it. He gets to a point where he's trying to punch the Spot in the head, and he winds up punching him into
goes right through his head
into the portal. Yeah. Which you know, winds up kind of freaking him out, and his spider sense goes off again. Spot's trying to attack him now from, I mean, multiple angles, and it's weird. It's like there's an element of the Spot where it's almost like he's trying to emulate Spider-Man, because he starts to taunt him.
Yeah.
And at one point, like, his hands come out of the portals and do like this, like a tisk tisk, kind of thing, you know. But you know, you don't taunt Spider-Man. I mean, it's Spider-Man. He wrote the book on taunting.
Right.
So meanwhile, while they continue to fight, and the Spot really probably is frustrated at this point, because he probably expected to just show up and kick Spider-Man's ass again. But that's not happening this time. Spider-Man's, you know, prepared for him. Meanwhile, the symbiote is like kidnapped a guy and is like making its way across town as Black Spidey. You know, it's the black suit Spidey.
This actually was picked back up in the Absolute Carnage. Peter David wrote a one-shot about this dude. And I don't know who... it was Neil. Neil and I disagreed that we liked that he hated the story. I liked the story, but we find out 35 years later what happened.
In my head, I can already hear you going, "Yeah, I'll give it a B."
I get that guy. We see 35 years later what happens to that guy.
What happened to him?
Well, his son was framed. His son had a heart attack or something. Anyway, it's been a minute.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But Black Cat does manage to make her way inside of the Kingpin's tower. And of course, what happens when you show up in the Kingpin's tower?
Milk and cookies. No,
that's not what happens.
No.
You wind up fighting like a whole bunch of goons.
You got some goons. You got to fight. It's like you got to go through several levels before you get to the Kingpin boss.
So while Spider-Man is fighting the Spot, and the Spot finally does manage to hit Spider-Man, you know, with all the dancing around he's doing, he's literally got Spider-Man surrounded by portals, you know, and he's throwing out more and more of these things. And he finally does manage to punch Peter, and then kick him in the face. You know, Spider-Man actually makes noises like ooch and oof.
Yeah. Because
the Spot, while he's managing to hit him, he's not hurting him all that bad, because he's a normal guy. It's like, you know, it's like fighting your mailman. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell by the omna whatever them thingies.
Onomatopoeias.
Yeah. I mean, they're just pox and thaps and thumps. Yeah, they're just not really, you know.
Even the sound effects, they're kind of little.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not really impactful. It's probably just, honestly, it's probably just pissing him off.
Yeah. He can't get a handle on him. He's moving around too fast, and which is usually Spider-Man's motif.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Black Cat continues to fight the goons inside, and the Black Cat does pretty good. I mean, it's Black Cat, and these are, you know, just standard generic goons.
Yeah.
I think one of them's coming at her with like a leather sap at one point.
Yeah. Now, hang on a second here. Want to bring up something. One of these goons looks awfully familiar. Okay, so like Brad, bring up the page. You know the page. Well, the page where Spider-Man was ooching and oofing. Okay, and then the panels below that, and look at one of the thugs that's trying to hit the Black Cat.
Is he in the purple suit?
The purple suit and the blue tie. Okay.
Okay.
And then you flip back a couple.
This guy.
That guy. Okay, now flip back a couple of pages to the guy who was
backwards.
Backwards to the symbiote had used to get across the city.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Okay.
Same dude.
Same guy. Same guy.
Oh my God! I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that.
Oh,
that's true.
Well, he's got orange hair. Let's look. Yeah. Well, the face is a smidge different. I can see what you're talking about. Yeah.
I was about to say somebody. The editor wasn't editing on this job.
Oh, that's funny.
This is why we sometimes call JR Spider Yoda.
Here, Javi remembers it better than I do. Spoilers for Symbiote Spider-Man Absolute Carnage. The White Rabbit causes the son to have a heart attack of the tourist, who's a judge. So that guy who got the symbiote on was a judge. He sneaks a gun into the White Rabbit's trial. The killer misses and kills the stenographer.
God almighty.
That's right. And it's actually really good. It's a Peter David written book.
Was the guy rich? Is that why White Rabbit gave him? Was she like? Did she marry him and try to kill him?
No, I think. Well, the guy who had the symbiote on was a judge, and he put her in jail.
Oh, okay.
And so she went to go mess with them, and the son had a heart attack. And
okay, yeah, because originally that was White Rabbit's MO.
Yeah,
she was a gold digger that killed off her husbands.
Exactly.
Here, hold on a second. I guess in that sense, she was also Black Widow.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Starting the second do.
Some women kill their husbands fairly quickly, and others just kind of slowly suck the life out of them over the course of 30 years or so.
Like a symbiote?
No doubt. Red Eye, hello. Welcome to the live stream. There you go.
All right. So Felicia fights her way past the goons to get inside to confront Wilson Fisk, while Spider-Man continues to fight the Spot, and Spot's actually getting the upper hand here. Spider-Man is so overwhelmed by the number of portals that are appearing around him. It's like he can't even move without being around the same amount of portals. Yeah. So he's got fists hitting him in the head left and right. Of course, it's probably these are love taps to Spider-Man. Spider-Man, look at the people he's fought before. Look at the heavyweights he's fought before, right? People like Dr. Octopus, Sandman, Firelord, former Herald of Galactus, Stegron. I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
But he manages to hit him more. He's kicking him more, and all the while he's throwing these holes out. Because remember, earlier Spider-Man tried to hit him in the side of the head. It wound up going in one of those black spots, and it completely missed. Because that spot is not his head. It's on his head, but it's not his head. It's slipping into the other dimension. So as this guy is throwing out more and more holes, which sounds dirty, he's managing to hit Spider-Man with these weak punches, these weak kicks. But he's becoming increasingly white. He's becoming increasingly less spottish and more.
Oh, okay. Because the black holes are shrinking.
Yeah, because he's throwing so many of them off of his body that it's making himself more and more of a target because there's not enough on him to divert attacks that might hit him. Like when Spidey tried to punch him in the head. So Spider-Man finally catches on to that. After Spot hits him a couple of more times and hits him in the head a couple times, kicks him in the back at one point, and then Spider-Man just turns around and decks him as hard as he can.
Yep, right there.
I mean, just pow, and the guy screams, "Ah!" like a little, like a little what? I don't know. I don't. I almost like a little girl, but it's 2020. You can't say that.
No, that's true.
So he almost screams like a little.
Like a little defeated villain.
There you go. I'm struggling.
Well, wait a minute. You just earlier said that he was becoming more white. So, I mean,
no, literally, that's what he.
That was just as politically incorrect.
No, I mean that he
literally
is
less. He's
like an amalgamation of Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Spider-Man punches him. Right. I mean, just right in the face, right in the jaw, and Spider-Man explains to him, "Ha ha, you idiot." You've been throwing off so many of these things now. You've made yourself a big target. I can actually connect with you now. And just for good measure, punches him in the gut, right in the breadbasket. Bam! And the guy, woof, he says, And so he tries to escape. I mean, he runs away. He literally is like, oh my God, no, just let me get out of here, right? I've made a huge mistake. Sorry, can we just forget this happened? He tries to go through one of his portals. Spider-Man appears through one of the portals because he's still got a ton of them out there.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's like, he's like, no, I've learned my lesson. Maybe I don't want to become a super criminal, And Spider-Man's like, okay, great. Then don't.
Yeah.
Learn your lesson.
He even has his finger out. Don't you do it. Don't do it.
He's pointing at him like Aunt May, telling him that he's weak.
And he even steals one of Wolverine's lines.
Did you say Bub?
He calls him Bub.
He calls him Bub.
Yeah, he calls him Bub. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the end of our fight for this month because we immediately go into the Kingpin altercation in the next month.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, advantage or final decision. Clearly, Spider-Man.
He had him dancing around. Spot was dancing around a lot.
Yeah, but he got too big for his britches. He got a little.
Spider-Man wore if these two were in the ring, he danced around a lot, and Spider-Man wore him down, and then Spider-Man hit him with the one punch. And that was enough.
No, I mean, he hit him in the face, and then he hit him in the gut. The punch in the face was enough to stop the guy. But when Spider-Man hit him in the breadbasket, it's like Spider-Man's like sending a message.
Yeah, that did it.
Yeah,
that was
like,
it. And he ran.
And he just ran off. Just ran off like a dog with its tail between its legs.
I'm not going to argue with this one. This one is so Spider-Man.
No, but this is the thing. I mean, as Spider-Man whoops him here, it evens the scales between them because the first time the Spot appeared on the scene, he beclowned Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he really did because Spider-Man didn't understand his power set, didn't understand what was going on, and he got very quickly overwhelmed.
And I think he, like you said, he had the potential to be a good villain. I always thought he was visually cool, kind of like Venom is visually cool, but the writing Venom I don't think has been written well until the last couple years with Donny Cates. I know you two aren't reading that, but it took 30 years before I'm reading a Venom that I'm like, yeah, this is cool. This is cool. But Spot is an example of just need a better writer to write this guy with such cool powers. And like the YouTube and Facebook chat have been saying, the Spot was in the animated series. I remember that.
I don't remember that at all.
You don't? He was.
Of course, honestly, and I've said this before, I wasn't all that big of a fan of the animated series.
I'm not either.
Just because in the 90s, just because of the quality. I mean, for me, I would look at the quality and I was looking at things like Batman, because at the same time you had Batman, the animated series. And I'm looking at Batman and I'm like, oh my God, these guys get it. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And then I have to go watch Spider-Man and I'm like, this Spider-Man should be every good as the Batman cartoon. And for me, it just wasn't.
I would agree.
They were up against some horrific.
Here you go. Here's what he looked like in the animated. Sorry, go ahead.
Now they were up against some horrific censoring in that animated series. Couldn't show guns. Everything had to be laser. Spider-Man couldn't hit anybody. It just utterly bizarre.
Meanwhile, over in Batman, he's got guns. She got guns. All God's children's got guns over in Batman. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You got guys with Tommy guns in the Batman cartoon. I mean,
the spot was kind of in the middle of that whole Green Goblin Hobgoblin thing when the Hobgoblin was exposed and the Green Goblin because the Green Goblin had stole the device. And that's ultimately how Norman Osborn wound up disappearing. Instead of getting impaled, he disappeared through a time portal hole. And
it makes you wonder: was that a Marvel stipulation that they couldn't have guns? Because I mean, they were both.
I think it was Fox.
Probably FCC.
But the thing is, they were both on Fox Kids.
Yeah, that's true.
Batman was on Fox Kids, but there was guns everywhere.
I don't know if it was the I thought Batman the animated series was syndicated. I thought that was syndicated.
No, it was on Fox in the afternoon.
It was on Fox. It was part of Fox Kids.
We've Spot's been made into an action figure, which is probably a really easy action figure to make. You just paint the whole base of the figure white and then put some black spots over him.
Yeah.
This is probably a custom.
I mean, visually, he is interesting.
Yeah, he's cool.
I don't like the just one big spot for the face, though. I like the eyes. I like the eyes and having the mouth still.
Yes. Yeah.
The one big spot on his face, that just makes him look like some kind of,
like a really bad Dalmatian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who called him? Oh, Terry James, Dalmatian man. Called him Dalmatian.
Dalmatian Man. Oh, yeah, there we go. Terry James calls him the Dalmatian Man. The spot portal was how they killed Mary Jane off without killing her in the animated series, says Zach. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Introduced a spot in the 90s cartoon. Difference of 3 years. Yep. Fox Kids, by the way. Batman animated series was Warner Brothers, and Spidey Dude was Saban. Oh, okay. All right. So we ready to do March? We ready? All right. Let me do an intro for it. Let me get the issue back up. Okay. Coming down 3. Oh, hold on. Let me get the window over here so I can see better the cover. Okay. Coming down 3. Oh, and let me take this off.
We're about to have a triggered JR here in this fight, I think.
Oh, this ought to be good. Okay. Coming down 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to March for this edition of Friday Night Fights. Let's introduce the panel. You can't do it without George. What's going on, George?
Hello, everyone.
Greetings. And his on his webcam it says George Dr. Fight Club Behrman. I just now noticed that.
Yes.
And we also have JR on the line. What's going on, JR?
Hi.
Did you
Notice his is just JR.
JR.
It's not,
well, mine's just Brad.
It's not Dr. History. It's not Spider Yoda. It's
Well,
just
I'm not trying to compete with you this time, Brad. I mean, Dr. Fight Club should be where all the attention is focused.
That's true.
So,
Brad's not Dr. Fight Club. I'm Dr. Fight Club.
We don't talk
That's
about.
right.
We don't want to talk about Dr.
You
Fight
called me
Club.
Brad.
I called you Brad. Well, it was the
Stop with the hair. Stop with the hair. I knew it was coming. Okay.
Brad's actually smoother than I am right now. I've got some stuff. I've got some growth here.
I shaved this morning.
Yeah.
All right. So if you listen to our February Fight Club, we looked at Spec Spider-Man.
I can't believe it's been a whole month, Brad.
I know. It seems like just minutes. So we're looking at this issue again because you know what? Back in the 80s, this was a huge anniversary issue. We went from 1976 to what? 1985? Is that what we said on this issue?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
No, 85, spring 85. Yeah.
76 to 85, 100 issues had passed. So we were like, this is a big old celebratory issue.
Mm-hmm.
It got 2 epic fights in it. First, last month, we looked at the Spot. Now he's going to take on Wilson Fisk.
Yeah, and this is right after, because right after he kicked Spot's butt, you have the confrontation ongoing with Felicia and the Kingpin. Of course, as we said last month, the Kingpin is eager to drive a wedge in between Spider-Man and Black Cat because together they are way too effective for his liking.
Yeah,
you know, and so Felicia storms in to angrily confront the Kingpin. It had been her plan and Spider-Man's plan to go after the Kingpin together later on. But she winds up going in and then he winds up going in after her. But as she comes in to confront the Kingpin, he drops on her and said, look, when I gave you these bad luck powers, I didn't tell you this at the time, but they're also going to start working against Spider-Man.
Mm.
So it's like, while it's working in your favor, it's going to start hurting him. You're going to wind up killing your boyfriend.
Mm.
Which, of course, Black Cat's like, she's like Luke Skywalker. No, that's not true. That's impossible. But then this quickly turns into,
not true.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Then she threatens the Kingpin. I'll kill you for this.
Yeah.
She says, but the Kingpin is like, your power is useless if I don't attack you, and I won't. And so Black Cat just leaves. She's like, oh, well, okay, curse you. Then I guess I'll just go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's basically given her a dilemma. It's like, stay with Spider-Man and you're going to wind up killing him. Or, he lives and you both have broken hearts.
Real quick, how did this get resolved? How did the bad luck powers not kill Spider-Man?
Well, they broke up for one.
Yeah,
They broke up, but
they stopped being a team.
I know,
Yeah.
But it didn't come up later on in things like Maximum Carnage, for example.
It didn't. Like
they were
anytime
fighting.
she's around him, she's not killing him.
It may. I don't know. I'm not sure how this got explained.
Well, that's probably because you were expecting something as ridiculous as editorial oversight or consistency or something.
Consistency between the
that's no, we can't have that these days. Can't have that at all.
Okay.
So she storms out of his office with a dilemma. Does she break up with Spider-Man or does she stay with him? What does she do? She's got a lot of thinking to do. And as soon as she leaves, Kingpin hears more fighting outside of his office door.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man, fresh after having just owned, get it? Owned.
Oh, yeah.
the
Nice. See what you did there.
All of his goons that just got trashed by the Black Cat start just flying past his office door in a heap of unconscious men's. And Spider-Man drops down, to announce his presence.
It's an anniversary issue, Wilson. It's time to fight.
Yeah. And so, Kingpin tries to get in his head. He's like, I just talked to your lover,
Yeah.
And proposed an agreement with her. And of course, Spider-Man, it doesn't take much to trigger him right now. I mean, he already can't stand the Kingpin.
Yeah.
And so now he jumps onto the Kingpin's back from where he is. He's webbed up. He's coming down from the door, swinging from the door jamb, I guess. Mm-hmm. Swings onto the back of the Kingpin. And then the Kingpin picks Spider-Man up and slams him violently to the ground. Now, here's the time. Every time we have this happen, and I'm going to pull something up real quick. Every time we have something happen, JR is like, there's no way this should ever happen. Ever. All right. And I'm always saying, okay, well, look. All right, number one, typically when Spider-Man and Kingpin fight, at least early on in their history, Spider-Man wasn't fighting him at 100%. He was either, the Kingpin had either arranged to have him, injured, or he had tried to capture him and was injured, or he weakened somehow. So a lot of their early fights, it wasn't on an even playing field. It was like Spidey was, kind of gimped in some ways. Mm-hmm. But the Kingpin himself, as much as JR likes to call him fat guy all the time, the Kingpin is actually, he's an incredible physical specimen. Very little of his body is actual fat.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think, Brad, you even used one of those for one of the episodes we did. It may have been one of the early Fight Clubs. I can't remember. You actually used a sound bite of my friend Roscoe Lee Brown.
Oh yeah. Where he talks about how my body's not all fat. It's just,
my drinking buddy, Roscoe Lee Brown.
Yeah, no doubt.
And so I mean that you have to consider that. Number one, this is not all fat. This is like thick corded muscle on this guy. Hmm. And I mean, like normal guy punch. I mean, like you have to be like Daredevil and be like, trained in martial arts, things like that. Spider-Man, while he is powerful, he is not a trained fighter. And we've covered this before back when we did Fight Clubs on the message board.
Yeah,
he's not a trained fighter. This is why someone like Captain America, who is not as strong as Spider-Man, can go toe to toe with Spider-Man.
Yeah, because
he has training out the wazoo. And decades of experience.
And one thing, as we know, I don't care for the Slott run, but one thing I did think that was interesting that Slott did, he had Shang-Chi train Spider-Man some martial arts, which was helpful. I thought that helps him fight. I thought that was a good.
Yeah, a couple of karate classes aren't going to cut it.
Yeah.
I mean, well, the thing is, the only person I thought who wrote a true Spider-Man Kingpin accurate fight was Straczynski.
Yeah.
Because there's no, I mean, as fast as Spider-Man is, there is no way. And see, this is the thing. It's not just the Kingpin, but they always got to try, because, like Daredevil should never be able to take Spider-Man on, but yet Daredevil is able to, radar sense or other kind of crazy. No, I mean, come on.
Ooh, radar sense. Terry wants to know, is Kingpin able to be a match for Spidey by overwhelming him with size and leverage, despite being peak human versus Spider-Man's superhuman?
He has before, and this is, I was going to get to that point.
Okay.
Not only is Kingpin just a mass of corded muscle, right, and a huge physical specimen, he is a master martial artist. And this gets overlooked a lot of times. I mean, how many times have we seen in the background of like a Spider, or not in the background, but like, kind of we come into like the Kingpin training and he's fighting like 12 guys.
Yeah.
He knows sumo, judo, hapkido. I mean, he knows a ton of stuff. And judo is all about using your opponent's strength against them. It's one of the ways that Batman does really good against people that are stronger than him too. Judo is like legit.
Yeah. Venkman and Zach are talking about Felicia's back powers. Dr. Strange took her powers away in Spec 115.
I forgot that.
And Venkman says, I think Black Cat lost her black powers in the conclusion of the Powerless trilogy, from ASM 343 by Michelini and Larson. It got canceled out by the same machine that took away Spidey's powers. But she still has those Black Cat bad luck powers, I think.
Have they touched on that lately?
I think she still does.
Like they did.
Yeah.
I can't remember when it's coming. Huh?
I tell you, I don't remember. Things have been so... things have been conned, retconned, upconned, and downconned. I don't know anymore.
McNulty says, George, not only is Kingpin trained in martial arts, but he knows how to wrestle and grapple. And whenever you see MMA fights, it's the wrestler grapplers who win every time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And a lot of his fights that you see with Kingpin, there's a lot of times when Kingpin wraps him up. You know, and Kingpin up close is actually very formidable. Despite JR's protestations, to the...
Terry says, I think Kingpin's just able to make up for being weaker than Spidey by being way larger and can overwhelm him. So,
yeah, he can.
With the proportionate strength of a spider and with his agility and speed, like I said, very few people should be able to stand up against Spider-Man.
If he was just a big guy at a gym, no. But the fact that he has the kind of training that he has, along with his strength and his mass, this is the thing. His strength level and why he's not as strong as Spider-Man. Being stronger than someone doesn't mean that when somebody weaker than you hits you, that it doesn't hurt you. If the Hulk is way stronger than the Thing, but if the Thing hits the Hulk as hard as he can, the Hulk's going to feel it.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, but as fast as Spider-Man is, Spider-Man can rattle off about a half a dozen punches before the Kingpin can blink.
That's true. That's true. But a lot of times they're not fighting on the top of a roof or something. They're usually when Spider-Man's fighting Kingpin, it's usually in an enclosed space,
or his office,
or his house.
Yeah.
Remember that one time he fought Spider-Man in his own mansion, and the whole thing was like Spider-Man proof.
ASM 197, I think. Chi-Town kind of gives you a quote that he kind of remembers from the animated series where the Kingpin says, quote, only 10% of my mass is fat. Allow me to show what the other 90% of muscle can do. That was my best Roscoe Lee Brown.
So while and JR is right, Spider-Man is stupidly, insanely fast and agile. I mean, he's able to dodge machine gun fire. You get him into a place where it's a more enclosed space, not as lot of room for him to jump from a chimney over to another wall on another build. You know what I mean? It's like he's fighting the Green Goblin out, like in the city, like where there's nothing but sky and buildings. It's a little bit different. Normally when they fight, it's not like, when can you ever think of them fighting on the street, for example?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and this is how Kingpin is able to not be a match, because I say that because the times he has beaten Spider-Man, it's been when Spider-Man was not at 100%. But when Spider-Man is 100%, this is how the Kingpin could kind of give him a run for his money.
I think that ASM 187 you're talking about, his arm was in a sling, wasn't it?
Yeah, because he had been injured the issue before because of the Kingpin. Because of stuff that I think he was injured when Kingpin tried to have him kidnapped.
Yep.
So this is now we talk about the Straczynski fight, and that was a great Spidey fight. That was the only good thing for me that came out of Civil War. Was that Kingpin Spider-Man standoff in jail. But you have to consider, though, that is not a typical Spider-Man Kingpin fight, because what was Spider-Man's mindset going into that?
As Aunt May got shot. Yeah.
Aunt May got shot. He knew the Kingpin was responsible, and he was out to murder the Kingpin. I mean, he was that level. He was that mad. He was in a murderous rage.
Yep.
I counter that the reason he was able to literally just own Kingpin and just beat the hell out of him in front of all the other prison guys was because he was that mad. He's never been that mad at the Kingpin before.
Yeah.
Not ever.
So take me where he slams him on his back.
Yeah. Well, we segued, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Well, I felt we had to. It's going to come into play too. I feel. Anyway,
take me from here. This is a big hit.
So yeah. Kingpin grabbing him over his shoulder, flipping him down onto the ground real hard. That's judo, right there. Yeah. Now Spider-Man does not have formal fighting training. He doesn't. 2 issues of Shang-Chi helping him out doesn't count. But Spider-Man is able, like while he's on the ground, he swings his legs up, swats Kingpin on the head either side. And Kingpin doesn't even look like it hurts. Kingpin looks like he's mad, right?
Yeah.
But he manages to grab, Kingpin by the head and then swing him over, kind of like, you flip me, I flip you kind of a thing. It's like house flippers, but with heroes and villains. And Kingpin goes flying, crashes down. I'm not sure what that is. It's something that shatters.
Like a wall.
I don't know if it's the wall, the ground. Yeah, I guess it is because there's like it's falling down behind him. So I guess he's like threw him in a drywall there in the office. And and so they go at it. They meet in the middle. Fists flying. Spider-Man starts hitting him. He hits him with a nice little uppercut while the Kingpin's trying to bear down on him, but it's not enough to stop the Kingpin from bringing both fists down on him and just hitting him savagely right across the neck and the back. It looks like you can even hear like a crunch.
Yeah, crack, crunch.
Spider-Man
bones breaking.
Spider-Man probably, he's probably he got a cracked vertebra from that. Who knows? Probably not. But anyway.
Well, look at these next two panels. This is funny.
And then Kingpin kicks him, sends him. I mean, like swats him away like a
grief.
He kicks him the way Norman Osborn wishes he could kick him. I'm gonna get slapped for that one.
Norman just throws girlfriends off bridges.
Yeah.
Kingpin kicks him to the face.
Kingpin will kick you in the face. And then Spider-Man, instead of landing on his butt across the room, Spider-Man, is able to get kicked back and then pounce back up on the wall. Meanwhile, while this fight's going on, Black Cat sees a Spot fleeing from the last fight, and he's trying to collect his holes. Now that Spider-Man's gone,
I've got to get my holes.
He's come back out of his little pocket dimension, and he's desperately trying to gather back all of his holes and put all of his holes back in. It's like the way I get like in the morning when I go to the 7-Eleven and I get like a one of those bag of donuts, little chocolate donuts. He's desperate to get all his holes back, and
never thought you'd say that in the show. That's funny.
Yeah. And he tells Felicia, look, he went after the Kingpin later, bye. And he's literally holding a armful of his holes to his chest as he heads off. No. And rather than, and Felicia's like, oh, he went after the Kingpin? Okay, well, I guess I'll just sit up here and continue my thinking. And I'm like, or you could go in and try to do what you've done throughout most of the issues preceding this. Go in and help your boyfriend, Anyway. So Kingpin and Spider-Man are still fighting. Kingpin picks up his desk, which is something he's done at Spider-Man before. So Kingpin has used a desk at Spider-Man before. It's not the first time. And the desk, I mean, like Spider-Man's, fast and agile and stuff, but he's not fast enough and agile to avoid the massive desk.
Yeah. And
Kingpin sends it crashing down on him. And then Spider-Man starts, I don't understand this office. Because, every time we see Kingpin's office, it's like a big penthouse suite. It's like one big thing, right? Mm-hmm. But for some reason, there's like a curving spiral iron staircase in here for some reason. Yeah. Because reasons.
It looks cool.
It looks cool, but rereading this, I was like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
We've never shown this thing having 2 floors whenever we see Kingpin's office. But here, suddenly, metal, iron staircase. Okay.
Sure.
And Kingpin is so pissed off while Spider-Man is swinging on this thing, he starts to pull it down so hard, and he even explains it. He's like, my rage is fueling me here. I would love to see you dead. And he pulls this thing down out of the roof by the bolts, right? And it's not like I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, people could probably misconstrue this as, oh God, the Kingpin is so strong, he's picking up the staircase. No, the way you can explain this is, no, he's ripping it free from whatever it was mounted to, which is considerably weaker, probably, than the bolts and the metal staircase holding it up. Basically, he's not attacking the staircase so much as he's just pulling it off of the roof, again, because he is very strong. I mean, you can even see like when he rips it down, there's like, you can see where like it's the metal that was holding it, bolted up to the roof is still intact. It just looks like it just, broke free from the roof. Anyway.
Yeah.
So while he's holding the staircase, Spider-Man plops down, kicks him right on his bald head.
Look at that. Ouch.
Kicks him right on his bald head. And it's just making Kingpin madder.
I do like the dialogue here or whatever. Oops, so sorry. I seem to have stepped on your face.
Yeah. And at this point, I mean, like Kingpin isn't even like, talking like Kingpin. He's so mad. He's like, I'll kill you. He's reduced to just, I'll kill you. He looks like Teddy Savalas on like a carb bender.
I'm about to murder these donuts.
And so he's rushing at Spider-Man. Spider-Man's on the wall. He he's charging at Spider-Man. Spider-Man hits him, kicks him in the face.
Yeah.
Swings web line, kicks him again, puts him down one more time. Kingpin's getting back up on his feet to fight. And Spider-Man's like, don't, he's like, Anakin and I have the high ground, But Kingpin's so mad, he gets back up. Spider-Man gives him the haymaker, there's the double crunch.
Yeah.
Sprawls him all over his high-tech equipment in the background, which, Kingpin suddenly has a lab in his penthouse, whatever. He goes spiraling back into, I don't know, what are those Betamax players, and so Kingpin is like, haha, you fool. Little did you realize when you pushed me back into all this equipment, I've already summoned the cops by pushing this button. And Spider-Man's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You're calling the cops? And the Kingpin's like, I have a clean record, Jack. You're on private property. Cops are on their way.
Oh, man.
And I couldn't, while I was reading that, I could never remember another time when a villain has gotten Spider-Man to take off by threatening to call the cops on him. When a villain does it.
Yeah.
I mean, normal people, sure. Jonah, sure. Here's Kingpin, who Spider-Man knows is like literally the dirtiest guy in town.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to call the cops on you. And Spider-Man's like, okay, I guess I'll go. And he does. He leaves out the window.
True.
Right as the cop cars are pulling up. I mean, that's amazing to me. I mean, that's. Yeah. Okay.
I'm interested to hear who won the fight because I'm going to debate this a little bit.
Oh no! I mean, Spider-Man clearly wins the fight because
wait a minute. The fighter has left the ring. He left the scene in mid-fight. Isn't that disqualified in a fight?
I wouldn't say this is a disqualification because I mean, Kingpin did get some good hits in, but I mean, at the end of the fight, he was owned. Spider-Man was kicking the crap out of him.
Yeah.
And the only reason that stopped is because Kingpin called the cops. So I think in that case, Kingpin is disqualified.
Yeah, the referees came in and stopped the fight.
Yeah, referees came in. Yeah, the cops came in and stopped
the fight. The cops are the refs. Okay.
But I'm giving the win to Spider-Man because Spider-Man didn't call the cops. Spider-Man was like, I mean, I could beat on you all day long. You're like a side of beef for me to practice on right now. I have the upper hand. I have the advantage. This is my fight now. I mean, and Kingpin's like, no, 911, please come help me. Send the police.
McNulty says, "You fool! My secret weapon is 911."
It's the police. It made me think about all the, all of the other villains out there who haven't been proven to be criminals yet. Why don't they just call the cops?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
anyway, the fight ends, and we get the breakup with Black Cat.
I just received the summons, guys. I got to go.
All right.
I will be back shortly.
What's your ETA, JR? How long is it going to be?
Oh God, I hope it's within a half an hour.
Okay, cool.
She said, "Come and get her now." So
all right, cool.
We'll
be right back.
See you, JR.
So Black Cat and Spider-Man break up, Brad.
Yeah.
And so Black Cat had finally, during the Kingpin fight, finally came to the decision, as heartbreaking as it was, that she was going to break up with Spider-Man for his own good. She had to. She had to. And she even says at one point, I think she said, I have to break my lover's heart so that I don't stop my lover's heart from beating or something like that.
Yeah.
So she's very sad. She's coming to Spider-Man like, look, we need to talk. And the Spider-Man's like, no, we need to talk. You don't even like me. You like the suit. You only like me when I'm wearing this suit. Yeah. You don't like me any other time. And I think it's best we go our separate ways. And Black Cat in her mind is like, you're breaking up with me?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, so they go their separate ways.
Yeah.
And it ends with the symbiote suit, which made its way back to Peter's apartment and is like hiding out in the closet waiting for him. Continued in Web of Spider-Man #1.
You had to check that out.
Yeah. That was a good issue too.
That was a great issue.
Yeah.
And it ended Marvel Team Up, suck a JR.
Yeah. So good. Another great Spider-Man Kingpin fight. An interesting, not great, but interesting spot fight the previous month, last month. If you can remember back 30 days when we covered
30 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah. But still a really good Kingpin fight.
And it was a long time. I mean, it was at least 7 issues before Spec got right back on track because there was a lot of fill-ins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think the next great Spec issue was Jean DeGray.
Jean DeWolf.
Jean DeWolf, sorry.
Yeah.
Jean DeGray.
Yeah.
107.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it
no
was
doubt.
about half a year. Then
Yeah.
Peter David came on.
Yep. Your camera is out of focus, sir.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Yep.
I was looking at something else. Is that better?
Yep, that looks good.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna wait until JR comes back. It'll be a half an hour. So I thought George and I could chat it up with everyone. Throw up your comments or your questions or Fight Club suggestions or whatever you would like. I haven't been doing comments for a minute, so let me put some of these up on.
I'm going back and reading some of the comments now because
Here, I'm going to throw them up.
When I do Fight Club, it's hard for me to follow the comments because I'm having
Spidey, Shytown says Spidey went no holds barred in the JMS fight. I would agree. That wasn't Spidey either. That was pure Peter. It got personal. Very true.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Zach says very rare. He's unleashing himself. Peter holds back a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane. Let's see. Heads issued. Take down Michael Cole. I don't know what that means. Now it's working. Oh, you're having tech problems. He embraced the spider when he fought Kingpin in prison. SoFlo entertainment. That's opposite of what was said. I think it was a very Peter fight.
I would agree more with it was a Peter fight, and at that point, like Kingpin had made it personal on a level that finally pushed Spider-Man pushed Peter to the edge.
Hershey says Spot is one of my favorite lame Spider-Man villains. Mine too. He's up there. I like Spot.
We talked about it earlier. He's visually appealing. He really is. He's interesting. He's just not interesting story-wise.
Matt says, do you guys remember Kingpin's first newspaper fight with Spidey? Yeah, that was written by or penciled by Romita Sr. and Stan Lee writing it.
I think we covered that one.
No, I don't think we've ever done a newspaper fight where Spider-Man in the comic strip in the newspaper.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
They were talking about the desk and fighting. Zach says he gets a discount at IKEA. Vinkman says it makes no sense. Andrew Leland. Let's see. I'm still mourning as he. My fool. My secret weapon is 911. Kingpin threw in the towel. The towel being the cops. Let's see. Where am I? Commanda called the cops on Spidey and Untold Tales 9. Who is Commanda? I don't remember Commanda.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Web number 1 says Terry would be a good Friday night fight. Spidey versus the suit versus the Vulturians. I agree. That would be a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that one.
The thing with what issue that was
Web 1 to 3.
Yeah. Web 1. The problem with Web is that Web started off really good and then just got decreasingly bad.
Yeah, it was like fill-in issues a lot.
Yeah, it kind of lost its ride.
It wasn't until Conway and Alex Savick took it over that it really got good. Like issue 38 or something.
I think we've covered some Web of Spider-Man fights. I think isn't that where we had the
you had the drunk Spidey and the Hobgoblin fight. I remember that one.
That and wasn't the the ones where he was fighting like the Brothers Grimm and
the Axe of Vengeance one.
Yeah.
68 or something like that.
Yeah, when you used Ballroom Blitz for the song.
Yeah,
that was a good fight.
Yeah, heroing. Are you guys ever annoyed that writers put Spidey in a situation similar to ASM 33 as it seems to be a trope? Yeah,
it's overused too much.
I would agree.
But here's the thing. I mean, it gets overused in the movies at this point. And what really the last time it was used that I can remember was in Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't even, and he was thinking about Stark the whole time.
It was in my favorite, Spider-Man 2, where he's holding up the wall with Mary Jane, and she discovers his secret identity.
I loved that.
Yeah, that was the first time you saw it on film.
I loved that.
Let's see. Zach wants you to do a clone fight. I don't think that's going to happen. Is there a clone fight you remember that you loved? No. Okay. Would you guys like to see these characters a spot in an issue of Spider-Man film?
See who in a Spider-Man film?
Spot in.
Maybe if Spot was like, like the villain to the opening credits for like the first 5 minutes or something like that.
That'd be fun.
That would be fine.
Chi-Town wants to see ASM 350 in a future Fight Club where he goes against Dr. Doom, penciled by Larson and Michelini writing. I remember that one.
I remember that one. I'd have to go back and so here's the thing. Some of these things were like you think of things and you're like, oh, that was a good fight. And you actually go back and look at them. They're not. for different reasons. Like the fight is too short. The fight needs to. Well, I say that. I say the fight is too short. In some cases, that works. Like Secret Wars, when Spider-Man kicks the X-Men's asses.
That's like a page or two.
That's like a couple of pages.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can break that down. We broke that down like the Zapruder film. Back and to the left.
Yeah.
Back and to the left. I mean, we did.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. Not every fight is like that. A lot of times, the fight doesn't last that long, and it's only interesting, for like a couple of pages. There's sometimes when you can remember things, and you're like, "Oh no, that was a good fight." When you're thinking, "Oh, I enjoyed that issue," the fight isn't always viable for us to cover here.
I like that Spidey trained with Shang-Chi too, says SoFlo. Brad loved the Brand New Day issue of Spot. I guess I did, but I don't remember it now. Commando was an untold only villain. How about
I tell you though, Spider-Man, Spider-Man or Peter can't, because he can't invest that kind of time in it. But if Spider-Man was training with Shang-Chi daily.
Oh yeah. It was one issue, I remember.
Yeah, I mean, one issue doesn't count, but if he spends a couple of years training with Shang-Chi, we're like,
yeah.
But he can't. His life is too busy. He can't afford that kind of time. I mean, if Spider-Man had that kind of training, he'd be unstoppable.
Yeah.
Matt says, especially if he learns to focus his chi, like Shang-Chi. Not the way Iron Fist can do, because the way Iron Fist does it is a lot different than the way Shang-Chi does it.
Yeah. Is the idea of the newspaper a good fight, George? Says Matt. Well, it the progression would kind of suck. 3 days, recap one panel.
Yeah.
Fight, recap one panel. I don't know.
I'm
going to have to reread those newspaper strips. Terry says ASM 318 to 19 has Spidey versus Scorpion versus Rhino versus Blacklash, penciled by McFarlane. I'm all in.
Yeah, that's one that we could cover. We've covered we covered Rhino here before. That one time when Peter, just overwhelmed him and kicked his. It was back when Rhino was going after Peter Parker because of Harry, and back when Harry was the Green Goblin, right before Harry died. And Spider-Man, oh my God, Spider-Man schooled him like a rookie. Yeah. Ooh, it was not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great Sal Buscema art.
Peter Parker 75 is a good Ben fight with Osborn. That'd be a good one. McNulty says, didn't Brand New Day try making the Spot cool? Forgot which writer wrote the issue. I don't remember.
Brand New Day tried to make a lot of stuff cool. None of it stuck.
Yeah. Heroing, have you guys done the Spidey versus Doc Ock and the Doc Ock impersonator in the JMS run? I don't remember that one.
You mean the Squid?
Oh yeah. I remember the Squid.
No, it's not it's kind of a.
Venkman Commanda was a European blonde woman who got bored of being a rich girl and turned to crime for fun. And I've double checked. She appeared in Untold Tales 10, not 9. So there you go. McNulty, also, isn't it funny how Spot is actually the most powerful member of the Legion of Losers? Why do you guys think so many writers have the Spot job so fun?
I don't know. I mean, the way that he fights is interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said earlier when we covered this in the first part of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, just his power set is very interesting, very unique. And I think that's why a lot of people might want to tackle him. I mean, if I'm a writer, I'm writing. I literally, I hope I'm paired up with a good artist, and I just call him on the phone, and I'm like, give me 3 pages of a Spot fight that looks really cool.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I'll fill it in later.
Chi-Town says Amazing Mary Jane number 5 may qualify for the Fight Club, judging by my preview. I guess Mary Jane goes up against Stegron and Tarantula, and who else is in that group? Vulture.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun. How about Spec 190? What happened in Spec 190? I don't remember. Do you remember? I don't.
Not off the top of my head.
Hershey, any fights involving Spider-Man versus the Legion of Losers? What's some of those issues? I don't know, Hershey.
I remember Spider-Man 189 because it had the cool Charles Vest fold out, but I don't remember 190. Oh no, 190 was we covered that. That was the fight I talked about with the Rhino.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
We've covered that. We covered that a long time ago before we were doing video podcast. It's on there. I don't know which one it is, but we've covered it.
Terry wants to know about the iguana fights. Those were fun. Those are like Spec 30-ish.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at them again because again, I think it may be one of those things where it was a cool issue and it looked cool and it was a lot of fun, but the fight may not be viable. I'll go back and look at it.
Brian wants to say, "Hey, Alan, who's Alan? I don't know." Zach says Spot would be a fun freak of the week type on a TV show. Yeah, if Spider-Man had a TV show instead of the films, like I said, like George said, it'd be fun to have an opening fight, kind of like ASM2 did with the Rhino. Only Rhino is a bigger villain, I think. A Spot or some dumb heroes or villains, would be fun. Spec 105, the Rhino fight is that beatdown. This is Matt. And Chi-Town says, Amazing Mary Jane, number 5 is the Savage 6.
Bob Jones brings up the Sinister Syndicate. We've done that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Remember the fight with Sinister Syndicate back then was like Rhino and Boomerang and Beetle,
Silver Sable and
Sandman, and we covered that a long time ago. Ooh.
Yeah. Terry says the Spot should be one of the most dangerous villains. I would agree. Do you think we're going to get a fight with Chance, George?
You know what? Maybe I'll go back and look at that because that's topical right now.
You got Web 15. And I think at the end of that, Eddie Brock, you don't see him for the first time, but he pushes Spider-Man in front of a train station. Maybe that's 18. I could be wrong. You got McFarlane's debut in 298, 299. Chance is in there. I don't remember that fight very well.
Mm-mm.
I don't remember any other Chance fights. Do you? Besides those?
Not at the top of my head, but I can go. I'll go back and look at them.
Herring wants to know about the first fight between Spidey and Moreland. You don't like Moreland, so I don't think you're going to do Moreland.
Sorry, Heroing. I don't. I hope I'm not breaking your heart by saying this, but Moreland and all the totem crap is some of the. I put it down there with clone stuff. It's some of the most. Yeah. It's like the nadir of storytelling for me. I cannot stand it. And the Romita. I remember Romita. I think Romita drew that issue.
Romita Jr.
Romita Jr. Yeah, Romita Jr. I remember it looking really cool. The art was well done. I've never liked Moreland, and I hated it. What was that one when Moreland and all his brothers and sisters and the web people and they could smell Spider-Man from across space or whatever.
Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah, it was
no, that was a Spider-Verse. That was
no,
was it? No.
Yeah.
No, was it? Yeah, it was because they were hunting the
they were hunting the spiders all over throughout the Spider-Verse trying to eat them.
Yeah, that was like suffering hemorrhoids for 6 months. That whole span.
Venkman also suggests the Doctor Doom fight from ASM 350. There you go. McNulty wants to know which villains that Spidey already beat do you guys think would make for a formidable rematch? Ooh, that's a good question.
What is it?
Well, I mean, we've done several Kingpin fights on Fight Club.
We've done a lot of Dr. Octopus fights.
Yeah.
Kingpin fights. We've done some Green Goblin fights.
Yeah. We ever done a Sandman fight? I don't remember a Sandman fight.
I think we did. I want to say we did Sandman and Hydro Man, but we may not have. I may be thinking for some reason of Hydro Man from Superior Foes, and that's why I'm thinking we covered.
Didn't we do a Hulk Spidey fight?
We've done more than one Hulk Spidey fight. Yeah.
Which ones? Is it the ASM 119 and 120? That's a good one.
That I think.
Well, you did Annual 3, where you had to go beat the Hulk to join the Avengers.
We did Peter Parker Spider-Man number 14 after Mary Jane died.
Oh, on the train tracks?
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Hero. Oh, thank God. Hero Wing's like, I don't like Moreland either. Woo! Sorry. Sorry, Hero. or good.
We're fine, George. I don't like Moreland either. I just really liked his first appearance in his first fight with Spidey and how cool it looked with Romita.
I just hated Ezekiel and all that totem business. And then we had Spider-Verse and Moreland could smell Spidey from across space.
Yeah.
And then the Cindy Moon. Oh God, it was also bad.
John wants to recommend the Ultimate Clone Symbiote War from 72 to 77. That's an Ultimate Spider-Man. He's not going to do that one. He doesn't like Ultimate.
We don't cover Ultimate on here. We don't cover clone stuff. We've done Venom, one Venom. I made the exception for one Venom story, and that was the first time we saw Venom fight Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 75 was indeed a very good personal Norman Peter fight. I would agree with you, Zach.
I would agree. It's the best clone issue.
Yeah. Matt has a good suggestion. I like this one. The Batman versus Spider-Man in late 94. Did they fight?
No.
They didn't fight. I remember they went up against Carnage and Joker, but I don't think they went toe-to-toe fighting each other.
Batman and Punisher fought. Spider-Man and Batman kind of. I think they were just pals.
Yeah, I don't remember them throwing a fist.
Yeah, I think they were just buddies.
Let's see what we got.
I think so, which is weird because Spider-Man, personality-wise, makeup-wise, is probably a lot more like Superman. Yet he and Superman had a fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Batman is like the antithesis of Spider-Man.
We've done Spider-Man versus Superman. Had Michael Bailey on, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We covered that one. That was a big one. Yeah,
that was a good one. Moreland, Chi-Town says Moreland was good. One shot, then died with JMS. Then they expanded it, which was bad, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
How about, says Hershey, how about Spider-Man versus Sandman and Hydro Man when they combined to the Mud Monster? I think we've done that one. That was written by Denny O'Neil.
I wish I'd have had the preface of thought when we started. Because when this whole thing first started, the genesis of the Friday night fight, was I was doing it as articles on the website with art and of course fight commentary by Shang-Chi and Ben Grimm.
Yeah, I remember that. And
sometimes we would have people filling in for one of the two of them. The Tick filled in one time, for example. And then that morphed into the message boards. We started doing Fight Club on the message boards. We did Marvel Fight Club, DC Fight Club, and then Marvel DC Fight Club. And then we did another Fight Club where it was like people from fiction. I think McNulty and I one time had like a Dracula versus Data from Star Trek fight. And then
you never really see Data fight very much.
And then we decided to do. Then we decided to do it on the podcast. We decided to start, and immediately some of the first things we did were things I had already covered as articles. And then we just kept doing those. I don't remember what year we started doing the Friday Night Fight. I don't remember what year we started doing it, and I wish I had kept a log of everything we covered because we've covered so much now.
Yeah,
that it's hard to keep track of what we covered.
When you have some extra time, you can go back to the archives and write them down. JR writes down the months that we've done so we don't repeat.
I don't have that.
You're good. Terry says Venom's second fight, and that is before he started talking about eating brains. That's ASM 316 and 317, which is a really good fight. I would agree. It's McFarlane. And Venom kills a guy to get out of jail. And it has a beautiful McFarlane cover and Funko Pop. Here, let me see if I can find this. Let me pull it up on Facebook. Funko Pop just released that they're going to do a recreation of that cover, which I think is awesome. Let's see.
Chi-Town. No, I'm not actually a fan of the Spectacular cartoon. Sorry. That's another one on my no-no list.
Let's see here.
The reasons I've said I don't actually enjoy that cartoon. I've said it is well made.
Yeah.
I've said that of the Spider-Man cartoons, it is probably the most well made out of all of them, including all the crap that they've been doing lately. You know, remember? Oh God, what was that one that we had to cover, Brad, for a while? And finally,
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Finally, we just stopped because it just got that awful.
Yeah.
I think Spectacular visually was the best, but overall I didn't like the cartoon. I'm not.
There's the new Funko recreation of ASM 316. I might have to get that one. That one looks cool.
Well, that is. I mean, visually it looks cool. I mean, it's symbiote stuff, so it's not something I'm going to.
Oh, I know. But, let me pull this up. Whoops. There it is. Do they list a price? Coming in 2020. There it is in the box. Looks like it's a Diamond exclusive. Anyway, that looks awesome. Okay, let me go back to
McNulty brings up the Magneto fight during Acts of Vengeance. I want to say we covered the Graviton fight for some reason, but I can't remember.
I don't see McNulty's comment on that. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah, ASM 327. I think I remember that one. Captain Universe versus Magneto, says Hershey. Zach is working on a spreadsheet for you, George, about all the fight clubs. That would be nice, Zach. Chi-Town, was Friday Night Fights ever cover the spec? We already talked about that. The one Friday night that I really want, but is yet to come, would be Spider-Man versus Spawn. Yeah, I always thought McFarlane would come do a Spawn Spider-Man crossover. He never has.
Remind me, wasn't the Spectacular cartoon? It had that awful looking Electro.
Yeah.
And it also had that. Wasn't that the one where Dr. Octopus had the long stringy hair and looked more like the Penguin from Batman Returns?
No, that was Ultimate.
Was that Ultimate?
Ultimate
Okay.
was the
I couldn't remember. It's just been so many bad Spider-Man cartoons. They just kind of run together.
Here's Electro in spec looked like this. So I didn't mind that. What did Doc Ock look like? Let me pull that up.
Yeah, that Electro looks stupid.
No, that doesn't.
Looks awful. It looks better than it looks better than Amazing Spider-Man 2, but yeah, okay, that look on Octopus is not so bad.
Yeah.
I remember I watched the Sinister 6 episode or episodes of that show.
Yeah.
And I did my only problem because I think Venom was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a loser for me automatically. But I remember watching that, and that's about the time, and I said, "This is quality-wise, this is the best it's ever looked." And honestly, I think that's probably the best it's ever gonna look.
McNulty says the weirdest Fight Club you ever did was the Grizzly versus Italian Spider-Man. Good times. Let's see.
Oh, I'm out of focus again.
Do you have it on automatic focus on your settings? I think that's what it does.
Yeah, I mean, it works most of the time.
Yeah. Let's see. Ned Leeds became Ned Lee in that spec show.
Yeah, there were a lot of changes to the characters that I just couldn't get on board.
Chi-Town wants to know Mark versus Neil. Who'd win?
Hershey asks, did I like the 90s animated series? I actually talked about that a little bit earlier. And no, I didn't. And the only problem was because quality-wise, Batman was out at the same time. And I loved the Batman cartoon, and it made me angry that Spider-Man's cartoon wasn't as good as Batman's cartoon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the spec cartoon turned Kraven into a werelion. Yeah, I didn't like that, come think of it.
Spider-Man versus Greyhawk. I think we covered that because that was the one where Spider-Man had the Captain Universe powers and knocked him into orbit. I think we covered that.
We did that. I remember that too.
I think we covered it.
Is the Scorpion a precursor to Venom and Carnage, similar powers but deadlier?
No, Scorpion is Scorpion.
Yeah.
The only problem is that Scorpion got co-opted into the Venom suit later on, and that kind of taints the Scorpion. I'm glad they've gotten so far away from that now. They're like, let's just forget about that ever happened.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just very picky, Brad.
I know you are.
I'm just very picky. I know what I like, and
and you don't want to review stuff that you don't like. I mean,
no, because I have to get into the fight. I have to get energized about the fight. And
my God, there's 60 years worth of content, and you can pick whatever you want.
I have to look at it and say, man, I want to cover this.
Exactly.
You know, and I can't do that with Moreland, with clones, with symbiote stuff, with Ultimate Spider-Man, with Spec Spider. I just can't get into it.
Hershey wants to know what brand of cigarettes you smoke.
I feel bad for smoking on stream, especially because I know that there's people of all ages that watch this.
Yeah. But you'd get the shakes if you didn't.
But at the same time, well, I mean, it helps keep me awake.
No. Gives you a little nicotine or a little. Does I guess nicotine is like adrenaline. It gives you adrenaline, doesn't it? Yeah.
The entire reason I started smoking in the first place was I was in college and it helped me stay up late to study. I should have just stuck with coffee.
Oh, no doubt.
Would have been much better for me.
Did you ever try to quit?
Yeah, I've actually quit before. I quit. Here's the thing about quitting smoking, and you can quit. Yeah. The first 2 to 4 weeks are dreadful.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten so bad when I've tried to quit before that my teeth ache.
Oh God.
I can feel it in my molars. It's like I'm jonesing that hard for it. But I have quit before, and the thing is, you can. I've quit for over a year before.
Oh wow.
But the thing is that once you're addicted to it, even when you get off of it, all it takes is one bad day.
Oh yeah.
All it takes is one bad day. Your car breaks down. There's drama of some
Stress.
kind, there's
Stress.
stress, and
Yeah.
and there it is. The only thing you can think about is having a cigarette.
So changing subjects, did you have this poster on your wall, George, in the 70s? They're making a Farrah Fawcett pop.
I did have a Farrah Fawcett. I had a Farrah Fawcett and
that's funny.
Cheryl Tiegs poster. I had a poster of Olivia Newton-John from Grease when she was a bad girl.
I was just looking through all the new pops coming out. That's kind of fun.
And I had a Cheryl Ladd poster.
Cheryl Ladd. Yeah, you don't hear much about her. Where was I? Venkman recently got the Batman animated series on Blu-ray. That's
who my favorite Charlie's Angels was?
It was Kate Jackson, probably.
It was Kate Jackson. Sabrina. How did you know?
I don't. I just guessed.
How did you guess that?
I don't know. I was gonna say the other girl that's was on there a long time, which was what is her name? She's beautiful.
Dude, when I was a kid, I had such a thing for Kate Jackson on Charlie's Angels. Oh my God!
Did you follow her to Scarecrow, Mrs. King?
No, because I was into other stuff when Scarecrow, Mrs. King came on TV. I mean, I still thought she was hot, but I didn't follow her into it.
What's the other girl on Charlie's Angels? You had Farrah Fawcett, you had Kate Jackson. What's the other one?
Jacqueline Bisset.
No.
Yeah, Jacqueline Bisset.
No, it's another girl. What's her name? Well, we have a thing called Google. Hold on.
No, it wasn't. Hang on. God damn it. I can't believe on the Spider-Man we're all right, fine.
Just pulling up that movie that just came out that bombed. I can't find it. Here we go. Kate Jackson. That's it. Kate Jackson. That's who I was thinking of.
I just said Kate Jackson. We just talked about Kate Jackson and how much I had a thing for her.
What's the other one I was thinking of?
I told you.
Jacqueline Smith.
Jacqueline Smith. Yeah,
Jacqueline Smith. Okay, not Jacqueline Bisset.
Okay. My Jacqueline's confused. There we go.
That's funny. Okay, where were we? Let's see.
I also had a thing for Erin Gray when she was on Buck Rogers.
Oh, I had a thing when she was on Silver Spoons.
That was my first. That was the first cologne I bought. Was English Leather because Erin Gray did the commercials for English Leather back when I was in grade school, and I remember being very shy and embarrassed and asking my mom if we could get that. We were at Dillard's one day, and my mom was like, "Yes, we'll get you some. We'll get you some of that because I know you like you like Erin Gray." I'm like, "Okay, thank you."
Get you some of what? I missed it. What you want to
get? Erin Gray used to do English Leather commercials. It's a cologne.
Oh my gosh. Have you covered ASM 327 Hulk versus Spidey, Cosmic Spidey? We did.
Yeah, I think we did.
SoFlo, I like the 90s cartoon toys. I have several of those. Hershey, don't feel bad, George. I'm usually... Oh, my. Well, let's not air that.
What?
That's not...
I'll scroll back up and look.
Hershey, that's not kid-friendly. Okay. Here's a quick question, both of you guys. Do you have any original art pages? I don't, but I have some commissions. I have a commission by Alex Savick, and I have a commission by Mark Bagley. And I want to get a commission by Ron Friends, and I want to get a commission by Salvi Sima. I think that'd be fun. And I priced a John Byrne commission. That's too rich for my blood. Hey, JR's back. What's going on, sir?
I'm back. All right.
We've been answering questions. We have a steady stream of them. Here, let me get these fast. Don't feel.
All right. All right. JR's back. Everyone in chat, prepare for quality entertainment. Prepare for well-researched facts and nothing paraphrased at all.
Actually, I'm going to end this broadcast. I'm going to open up another one that's called Spider History. So we don't have. But let me get all these questions answered real quick. We'll go fast. Venkman, I don't care whether you do it as Spider History or as Friday Night Fight. I just want you to do Spider-Man and Batman with Donovan Morgan Grant. He's gone on record as saying that it's his #1 favorite comic book.
I would be up for it.
I'm always up for more Donovan.
Yeah.
And Batman. Chi-Town, what issue was when Spidey was holding up the Daily Bugle? Spidey versus the Bugle. Nah, scratch that. He saved it.
Donovan is like potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes go everything. Good with everything.
Potatoes go with everything. Like you're eating dinner, and you're like, "Do you want more of this?" And somebody puts the potatoes in front of you, like, "Yeah, I want more potatoes." That's what Donovan is.
Did you guys see the Batman costume reveal? Yeah, it was okay. It was very dark. Michael McNulty has joked about in ASM issues. Why do you guys think there's so many hero versus hero fights instead of hero versus villain fights? And is it because of Mark Miller's Civil War? No, there's been hero versus hero fights.
Hero
since the
versus hero
60s.
goes back to the dawn of Marvel.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, that was the biggest trope back in the day. Was if you know you ran across a hero you didn't know yet, that you would fight them.
Yeah.
Or if you're the X-Men, you routinely get your butt kicked by Spider-Man.
Let's see.
Spider-Man kicked the X-Men's asses in their own book.
Terry says there's a video titled 10 Problems with Spidey Nobody Wants to Admit by What Culture Comics, and one of the problems listed was Mary Jane has no real character. Bull.
They haven't read the comics then.
They have not read the comics.
They damn sure didn't read the JMS stories.
Yep. Oh, Chi-Town has a commission by Alex Savick and J. Scott Campbell. That's really cool. Okay, so YouTubers and Facebook, we are going to take a 10-minute break, and I'm going to get some more ice and some Mountain Dew, and we're going to start a new feed, which will be February and March Spider History with JR. JR is back, ready to go. He's going to make some stuff up, and we're going to be back in 10 minutes. So watch the YouTube channel and watch the Facebook page. We will be right back. All right, see you in 10.
Bye, folks.
JR just leaves.